For the weight room warm-up, we're going to do a lot of different movements that have different goals. The main goal is to get your muscle temperature elevated to get you generally warmed up. Another goal we have is to increase the mobility in certain joints that are important to the movements you're about to do in the weight room. The last goal is to activate certain muscles that are, again, important for the exercises you're about to do that day. First thing we do is kind of a general exercise to, again, warm you up. We're going to jog and backpedal across the court. We do it in our basketball gym. If you don't have a basketball gym, that's fine. Just use about a 15-yard space. So again, we're going to jog down. Big stride. And we do this twice. Okay? Down, back. You're going to notice that I'm not wearing sneakers. Okay? We would like you to progress to not wearing shoes, not wearing socks, especially if you're on a slippery floor like we are here. The reason for that is to increase the strength in the muscles in your feet. Too often, people are wearing sneakers that require your muscles not to do anything in the feet, which will lead to eventual injuries. But again, you have to progress up to that, especially if you've never done that before. Be careful about the surface that you're running on. Next exercise, we're going to move into kind of our mobility component. Against a wall, we're going to mobilize our ankle on 3 different planes of motion. We're going to go forward, but also 2 diagonals. So we're going to get our foot 1 foot length away from the wall. We're going to step back, straighten the leg, step forward, drive the knee forward, keeping the heel on the ground. We're going to do this 3 times. 2, and then 3. Nice and slow. You can even hold it down here for this extra stretch. And then we go on an angle, so we're going to step back and across, step across the foot. Notice the knee is driving on an angle across the body while the foot stays flat and straight ahead. The foot doesn't change from the first one. Then the last motion is the diagonal the other way. Now, one other thing I'd like you to notice is that I'm trying to keep a high arch, meaning when I'm doing this motion, my foot does not collapse in. So stay on the outside part of your foot. Keep a high arch as you go through this motion, and again, you can hold it at the end range, all right, for an extra stretch. We do both sides, so then you go into your right leg. Then we're going to go into our hip mobility routine. So for this one, again, we're going to work on 3 planes of motion. We're going to start with our feet hip width apart. We're going to step back as far as we can, heel elevated, arms straight. You come down all the way, and you come up all the way, trying to look up towards the sky. You're going to feel a stretch in your hip flexor. You do this 2 times. So down, up, really extending back, look up towards the sky, and then you step back with your foot, and you do the same thing on the other side. Step back as far as you can, heel elevated, 2 reps, what we call the sagittal plane. Next plane of motion is frontal plane or side to side, so you step back as far as you can, heel elevated, come down, chest over your thigh, come up, pause over top, get as high as you can with your arms, and go side to side. So here we're trying not to move our hips at all as our torso moves around our hips. Hips stay still, torso moves, keep your arms very close to your ears. 2 reps each side, come back with a foot, same thing on the other side. Last plane of motion we're going to do is a transverse plane, a rotational component of movement. You step back, down, up, pause up top, and we rotate 2 times each direction. So again, 2 reps, all 3 planes of motion on both legs. And then we're going to go into a diagonal pattern, mobilizing our hips with our foot back and on an angle. Now notice here, right foot straight ahead, left foot straight ahead. They're staying straight ahead the whole time. All right, so this heel is flat on the ground as opposed to being elevated when you were straight back. So we go down, come up, feel the stretch 2 times. Again, sagittal plane, do the other leg, and you come back. We go frontal plane, so back, down, up, we go side to side, both legs, and then rotational component, transverse plane. One other thing you can do here is if you're extra tight in your hips, you can take this back foot, rotate it in, so we get an extra stretch in our hips. Right? So by doing all that, you will stretch or mobilize all your hips. Then we're going to move down to the ground. There's a few different exercises we can do, 2 of which are specific to problem athletes. One is anybody that has a history of hamstring injuries. We want to actually activate or strengthen the muscles on the side of your hip. So we're going to get down into the ground. We're going to do clamshells. So both heels are in contact with each other. We're going to raise our knee using the muscles on the side of our hip to move the leg, or to rotate the leg out. We do that 5 times, and then we move the heels off the ground, still together, come up 5 times using the side of your hip to pull the knee up. So very slow and controlled and deliberate. 5 reps, and then the final 5 reps, we come up, we kick out or extend out, pushing that heel straight, activating the muscle on the side of your hip, come back, heels in contact, and then down. Up, out, back, down. 5 reps of all 3 of those on both sides. Then we move into our cat camel. So our hands are going to be right under our shoulders, our knees are going to be right under our hips. We're going to flex and extend our spine 6 times. So here's the camel, into the cat, arms are straight, look up towards the sky, nice and slow, trying to reduce any extra friction in our spine. We do that 6 times total. And then with any throwing athlete or overhead athlete, anybody who's using this motion overhead that could be susceptible to overhead or shoulder injuries, we do an exercise that's going to open up your scapula or your thoracic spine. So we're going to get back into that quadruped position, put our hand right on top of our head, bring our elbow down to meet our hand, come back up and rotate. Eyes will follow the elbow. Here, then back up. Right? So when we're down, we're going to move your shoulder blade away from your spine. And then when we're back, we're moving our shoulder blade towards our spine. Right? You do both sides. Then we go into our fire hydrant. So here we're trying to mobilize our hips. First thing is activate your core. Flatten your back. We're going to bring our knee out so our hip is extended out. Push back hard and pull in. Out, push, come back in. We do that 3 times, then we go the opposite way. Press hard, come around. Press, come around. And one thing you really should work to avoid is rotating your torso or over-exaggerating the extension flexion in your spine. So what we do not want to see is any rotation or flexion in our spine. Another thing we want to see is a forceful kickback. So this leg needs to be straight and even with our torso. So again, 3 reps, both directions, both sides. Then we're going to go into Superman's. Excuse me, I should say Spider-Man's. Wrong superhero. So body is straight. Bring one foot to the outside of the hand. Come back. Foot goes all the way to the outside of the hand. So here the back leg needs to stay straight. Trying to mobilize the hips. So 3 on each. Then we go into our inchworms. So pressing down hard into the ground, contracting your core. While you do that, you're going to walk your feet up. So press into the ground as hard as you can. Walk your feet up and walk your hands out. So here you're going to feel stretching your hamstrings, trying to get your heels close to flat on the ground, pressing into the ground, walk your hands out. We do 3 of those. Then we're going to go into our high knee hug 2-inch-step lunge. For this exercise, we're going to hug our knee, get up tall on our toes, step out as far as you can, opposite hand down, elbow goes in deep, rotate under control, come back down to stretch the hamstring. So another time on the other leg. So get up tall, step out far, knee is stacked right over the ankle, not in front, right over the ankle. You're going to also notice that the back leg is straight, there's no bend in the knee. Come back down, stretch the hamstring. Do 3 on each leg. All right, then after you've done that, we're going to go into our squats. So overhead squats. Arms are going to be extended. You're going to brace your core, brace your abs. You're going to sit as deep as you can, trying to get your hips below your knees, and holding this imaginary bar above your head. You're going to do 10 of these reps. Eyes are forward, back is flat, get all the way on your heels. All right, then we're going to go into our lateral squats. I'd like you to put your hands behind your head, elbows back, drive one knee up, step out to the side, come back, and do the other side. As your chest stays up, your eyes stay up, notice that both feet are straight ahead and all your weight's on your heel of the side that you're squatting towards. Then we're going to go to a lunge and twist. We're going to twist, rotate, twist, rotate. 3 on each leg. After you've done that, we're going to activate our hip flexor and our glutes. So we're going to go across the court, march first, so drive the knee up. After 2 on each leg, we go into our A skips, trying to get the knee as high as you can, come down as hard as you can. You go across the court, you do the same thing, come back. March into the skip. Then we're going to finish with a upper body warm up, arms straight ahead, forward arm circles, 3 on each, picking up the speed as you go, and then 3 on each, going backwards. Then we're going to do arm circles, going forward from the side, backwards, getting bigger each time, and then finally big hugs, over and under, 3 each. Now, one last exercise you can do, we do this for our athletes that are susceptible to hamstring injuries. I'm going to grab this medicine ball over here. So to work on the eccentric strength in your hamstrings, you're going to get into a deep lunge. Eyes are going to follow the ball. We come down under control, come up a little faster. Okay. We're going to go 5 to 10 reps on each side. So down slow, shoulders, eyes, follow the ball, up a little faster. You will do both directions. So you go inside to outside, you also do outside to inside. Same amount of reps. Okay. You do that with both legs. Okay. That is your full weight room warm-up.